Are you ready to learn how to start a remote business, especially as 2024 is right around the corner? If this is your first time on my channel, my name is Lai. I've been running my own remote business to XU since 2019 and also ran a remote business before then for about 5 years. I've been doing this for a while. So now I post videos every Sunday and Thursday on how to work from home and how to have a business from home. So make sure to hit the subscribe button right there so you don't miss any of my videos. Now, in the last decade that I've honestly been really working from home. So I started out when I was 15 years old as a writer. Again, I now run my own virtual assistant agency, also still from home. I have learned a lot when it comes to starting my business and as well as getting it just fully remote as well for our clients. So for a lot of our clients inside of 2XU, they're mostly consultants, they're mostly coaches, and some of them have been doing a lot of their business on site, like in an office, until of course the pandemic happened, and now they've switched it to fully remote. So during the pandemic, we helped a lot of our clients be able to make that change over. Up to this point, they are still running their business remotely. So I wanted to create a video of how to be able to do that yourself if you are thinking of having your business just fully be online. So the first thing you need to prepare is know what the problem it is that you are solving. So what I mean by this is when you start a business, you are creating it because you're trying to solve a problem that you see. For me, for example, when I started 2XU, the problem that I kept seeing is that so many entrepreneurs just keep becoming solopreneurs that they hit that wall, that ceiling basically in their business, and they can't grow beyond it. So to grow beyond it, you need a virtual assistant, and to have a virtual assistant, you need to have the systems in place to be able to have that be successful rather than burning out as an entrepreneur and burning out the employee as a virtual assistant. So that's how I started 2XU. Is I got really clear on what was the problem that I was trying to solve in the world. Which brings me to the next one, is to be clear on who you're solving the problem for. So I said it in a previous video of how I grew 2XU to this point of you need to know who it is that you're solving for, because if you say that, hey, my business is actually for everyone, and for 2XU as a virtual assistant agency, I could have easily said that. But to be honest, my business really wasn't for everyone. It had to be entrepreneurs to a certain point. And for me, my expertise when I started 2XU were working with a lot of coaches and authors, because before that I was running a book publishing company. So I had a lot of the expertise about their niche, about their industry, about what it is that they did. So it was easy for me to create systems for them when it comes to working with their virtual assistant. So that was kind of I really wanted to understand who was it that I wanted to work with. It's kind of the freedom when you're entrepreneurs, you can choose who you want to work with. And being able to get to the point where it was going to be easy for them to communicate with me because I can relate to them, or I can give them advice specific to who they are and what it is that they did. Next is know your solution. So now that you know the problem that you're trying to solve, who you're trying to solve it for, you need to know the delivery, basically, the solution that you're bringing into the world, into the universe, basically, as you start your business. So for me, again, for 2XU, when we started, it was just really recruitment and management and training for virtual assistants. It's now evolved into more business operating systems as well for our clients, but it started out really with just the recruitment and training and management. So for you, for the solution that you're thinking, try to hone in what's your minimum viable product. What's the minimum thing that you can do so that you know that you're on the right path of solving this problem that you have picked. So this is why it's really important that you know, again, the problem that you're solving and who it is for. So when you come together and create your solution, again, the delivery of your product or service, it's going to be easy for you to not just be able to give that to them, but to explain it to the target audience, to people that you are going to be working with or serving for. Next part of your plan should be knowing who you want to solve it with. So what I mean by this is, and this is honestly something I should have really wished that I knew when I started 2XU, is creating an org chart for yourself of who you should be hiring and at what point you should be hiring for. So what I mean by this is when you are trying to grow a remote business, you are trying to get to a point where you're not the one doing a lot of the delivery. You've hired people to do the delivery part so you can focus on growing your business and not being stuck basically in your hotel or your Airbnb because you have to do back-to-back meetings. We want you freed up. To be able to get there, you need to have really good people and knowing who it is that you need in your team. So for example, for me at 2XU, I eventually had to learn the hard way of I need to hire managers for our virtual assistants because it couldn't just be me. And then I learned the lesson of hiring a manager for our clients because again, it shouldn't just be me because I could only manage and work with people to a certain point. So for me to stop hitting that ceiling, I had to really learn how to be able to get to the point where I could be hiring managers, I could be hiring teammates, we have social media assistants, we have people who are taking care of our bookkeeping, so on and so forth. And it came from me just kind of really sitting down. 2XU at that point was about almost 3 years old, so it was a little bit almost too late for me to learn this lesson, but I learned it anyway, of mapping out who I wanted to work with to be able to get to my vision basically long term for the business. Next is try to have a mentor or a coach. Now for me, honestly, I co-founded my business 2XU very specifically with my mentor of I think at 5 years at that point, because I wanted to grow that business with him because he had a lot of the expertise that I did not have yet. That's kind of your biggest advantage when you are starting out a business and you already have someone who can not just kind of guide you through, but you can bounce ideas off of. And honestly, my co-founder slash mentor is just that. Anytime there's an idea or a project I want to do, I bounce it off of him, not for him to say yes or no, but for us to refine it if it really is something that we want to do inside of 2XU. It's really important that you choose your mentors and your coaches very, very well because they will help propel your business to the next level. Next is go ahead and start setting up your tools. As you have the clarity of what it is you're going to deliver, who you want to work with, start setting up the tools that will help you working with your team and also with your clients. So the main ones I always recommend is making sure you have a project and task manager. Now I use Notion. This is not sponsored by Notion in any way, but of course, if you guys want to sign up for Notion, you can go into the link in my description. That does give me a little bit of affiliate and helps me grow this channel more. But with Notion, it is one of the ways for us at 2XU to be able to know where our projects are at, our tasks are at, without even needing to have a meeting on where everyone's at, because I can just check basically our project and task tracker to see where the status of the thing that I was asking them for. The second thing is you need a really good time tracker, just so you know how many hours your team has spent on like a task or a project, so you can measure that. And also just, for example, as a 2XU, we do pay hourly at the first year. So it's important for me to know how much I'm going to pay our people. The third thing is having a good client portal, at least for us, because we are a services business. We needed a way to have a place to consolidate all of our clients' information, and also any other tools that you need for running your business. So depending if you pick your service business or a product business, you have certain tools that you need to have set up. So setting that up even as early as now would be good. So then you can test it out, you can play around with it to get comfortable before you even have your team in. Next step is to get your first client. That's honestly, if you just remove everything else and just get for a client first, that'll help kind of solidify that you have a business. But I wanted to give you guys the foundation before even getting to the point where you need to get your first client. Now, on getting your first client, there's a lot of different ways. Of course, for me, as someone who is in content marketing, I always recommend creating a lot of really good content to entice your target audience in. This could also be you going out and networking, doing events, speaking at events, going on podcasts. There's a lot of different ways that you can do to get your first client. It could be asking for referrals. It could be, for example, for us at 2XU, we got our first client because we went to an event, spoke at it, and basically said, hey, can you just do this for me as a service? I don't want to hire an assistant myself. Do this for me as a service. And we're like, sure, we'll figure it out. And honestly, of course, that was the best validation we could get, that this is a service people needed even before 2XU was actually even a service. So getting your first client is essential because one, it'll get you testing out the services that you're going to deliver or the products you're delivering. And two, again, it gives you that extra validation that someone actually wants this kind of business that you just started. And of course, get your first employee. The moment you have recurring revenue, the moment that you don't have to keep chasing or pushing and you have a way to, again, get month to month a payment, hire your first employee. Don't wait and make the same mistakes that most people make where they wait a year before they're hiring their first employee, because the moment you hire your first employee, or the moment basically you have a recurring payments, that means that they're going to be recurring tasks that you're not supposed to be the one doing. So having your first employee, and of course I'll recommend hiring a virtual assistant, is going to free you up from a lot of those repetitive tasks so you can keep focusing on just the delivery part of your business. So that is why having a virtual assistant, having your first freelancer to do graphics, freelancer to do X, Y, and Z different parts of your business is just going to really just free you up from just doing that and focusing on, again, doing your business instead of just running your business. And of course, next is get management support. So what I mean by this is then as your business grows to a certain point, getting yourself an accountant, getting yourself lawyers, people who can, other than your mentor, can guide you through the process of now running and managing a business. It's going to be super helpful because, again, It doesn't all have to be you. It can be someone else who has the better expertise on the thing that you're trying to do anyway. This could be having just someone who is just on retainer for your management services, on retainer for accounting, on retainer for like managing your website, things like that. But again, it doesn't have to be you. And lastly, to be fully remote, you just have to repeat and improve everything else. So literally from the first one is knowing the problem that you're solving, knowing who you're serving it for, the solution, every single step. You can just repeat and improve every single time up to the point where you have your business again just working anywhere, where you're not stuck in meetings, where you're not stuck trying to get work done, where you can take half days off basically, or even full days off, because your business is fully remote, because someone else is helping you run the business and you can focus on growing it. Now, if you guys liked this video, of course hit the thumbs up button right there and comment below, what business are you thinking of starting to grow basically for the year 2024? I would love to know. And if you still haven't yet, make sure to hit the subscribe button right there so you don't miss any of my videos every Sunday and Thursday on how to work from home and how to have a business from home, which you guys can check out those two playlists right here and the latest video right here. I hope you guys have an amazing day. And remember that small steps matters, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye!